This is the first time in human history to use aircraft carriers to fight the battle. All the details are full. In 1942, since the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, his naval strength reached its peak. The arrogant belief that there is no country in the Pacific can compete with it, and then planned to continue the invasion and expansion of the South Pacific. The first plan was to capture Port Moresby on the island of New Guinea, and then use it as a springboard to control not only Australia and the surrounding archipelago. It can even cut off the US military's maritime supply line to Australia, which is simply multiple. On May 1st, the plan was officially implemented. Japan sent 2 aircraft carriers, the Shoka and the Shoka, escorted by heavy cruisers and destroyers, along with 4 task forces. Together as the main force in this operation, their battle plan was to first send a force to occupy the islands of Tulagi and Guadalupe, then quickly establish a seaplane base to facilitate long-range reconnaissance of the outer Pacific Ocean before sending another force. Cross the Solomon Sea, bypass the U.S.A Islands, and take Port Moresby directly. Then another unit was sent. A seaplane base was being established on the west side of Tulagi Island under the cover of the Showa carrier formation to provide reconnaissance support to the forces that had captured Port Moresby. Finally, the mission of Japan's main carrier formation is to destroy any foreign forces in the region, especially the U.S. carrier fleet. In order to prevent this series of plans from being discovered and blocked by the U.S. military in advance, the Japanese aircraft carrier formation will circle around the periphery of the Solomon Islands to confirm safety before entering the Coral Sea. What Japan did not expect was that, in fact, as early as a few months ago, the United States began to decipher Japan's combat plan. Having known in advance that Japan would launch military operations against Port Moresby, 2 aircraft carrier formations were dispatched. Task Force 17 York City and Task Force 11 Lexington, their purpose is very simple, is to sail into the Coral Sea to stop all Japanese expansionism in the Solomons. Soon American reconnaissance aircraft spotted a Japanese fleet sailing to the east of the Solomon Islands. The news of the intention to capture Tulagi Island is fully consistent with the content deciphered by the U.S. Military Intelligence Center, once again confirming Japan's expansion plan. On the 3rd of May, Japan captured Tulagi Island and began building a seaplane base. On the other side, Japan's 2 aircraft carrier formations. An additional mission is being completed, requiring the sending of 9 Type 0 fighters to the port of La Pol to strengthen control over the area. However, due to the weather, it was delayed for 2 days, resulting in the delay of the original plan. This allowed U.S. aircraft carriers to reach the Coral Sea 1 step ahead of them. At 7 o'clock in the evening, the U.S. military command received news that Japan had occupied Tulagi Island. It was decided to send an aircraft carrier formation to attack. Since the Lexington was refueling, it was left to the York City to act alone. At 7 o'clock in the morning of the 2nd day, the York City arrived 160 kilometers south of Guadalupe, and 40 planes began to take off, including 28 Fearless dive bombers and 12 Vandal fish bombers. These planes flew all the way over Guadalupe and straight towards Tulagi Island. At 8:20 a.m., they came over the Japanese warship and immediately launched an attack, but the sea was foggy at that time, so whether it's a bomb or a torpedo, it's hard to hit the target. On this day, the U.S. military carried out 3 airstrikes against the Japanese. After the war, the USS York City reported to the U.S. command post that they believed the airstrikes had sunk at least 10 Japanese warships. It also includes a number of cruisers. However, this is not the case. The U.S. military consumed a lot of ammunition and only sank a destroyer and a few small ships. The Japanese fleet on Tulagi Island was not badly hit at all. After the airstrike was completed, the U.S. military was in order to prevent the Japanese aircraft carrier from counterattacking. A temporary evacuation of the area was ordered, and the Japanese aircraft carrier formation in the Tulagi Island was attacked after the news. Even without oil, he immediately moved to the southeast, hoping to find an American aircraft carrier. At this time, the American aircraft carrier has rejoined in the Coral Sea. They were going to continue heading southeast, but suddenly a Japanese reconnaissance plane found their trail. Although the Japanese reconnaissance plane was soon shot down by the Wildcat fighter escorted by the U.S. military, it did not have time to report the location of the U.S. aircraft carrier to the headquarters. However, due to his delay in returning to the ship, Japan was alerted and had a general guess about the location of the U.S. aircraft carrier. So he was relieved to enter the Coral Sea for rest and recuperation. On May the 6th, the U.S. military was ready for the next battle. It was decided to merge the 2 aircraft carrier formations into one, and the formation of 8 cruisers and 11 destroyers was readjusted. It then veered towards the west. At 10:30 a.m., another Japanese reconnaissance plane spotted the position of the U.S. fleet, and immediately reported to the rear of the aircraft carrier fleet. However, the Japanese aircraft carrier was refueling at this time, and it was already noon when he finished refueling and pursued south. But even so, Japan is still unwilling to give up, continue to search south, and in order not to reveal their whereabouts. The Japanese fleet shut down long-range aerial reconnaissance, and as he went south, he was completely unaware of the time closest to the U.S. military. Only 110 kilometers away, by 7:30 p.m., the Japanese fleet, which had failed to search, decided to return, and the U.S. reconnaissance plane searching for the Japanese fleet also flew in the wrong direction. In this way, both sides missed each other under their own noses. On the morning of May the 7th, the U.S. military continued to send reconnaissance planes to search northward. It also sent 3 cruisers and 3 destroyers to the U.S.A Islands, hoping to find the traces of the Japanese aircraft carrier as soon as possible. The Japanese side also took off a large number of reconnaissance aircraft from a number of nearby military bases, looking for the location of the U.S. aircraft carrier. Not only that, the Japanese also released 12 Kate bombers from the aircraft carrier to search within 400 kilometers to the west. At this time, both sides have reached a critical moment. Which party is the first to discover the other party? Which party can seize the opportunity? Take the initiative. At 7:30 in the morning, 2 Japanese Kate bombers suddenly sent a report back to the headquarters. It is said that the U.S. aircraft carrier fleet was found in the southeast. After only 30 minutes, 68 Japanese fighters flew in this direction, but when they approached, they found that there was only 1 U.S. destroyer and supply ship, and there was no reported aircraft carrier fleet. The unwilling Japanese fighters decided to disperse and continue to expand their search. At this time, the U.S. aircraft carrier also took off 93 planes towards the north, because a reconnaissance plane reported that a Japanese aircraft carrier fleet had been spotted in the north, but after confirmation, it was only discovered that there were only 2 Japanese cruisers and 2 destroyers. I did not expect that both the United States and Japan had made the same intelligence error. Similarly, American commanders did not immediately recall the aircraft, but let them continue to search for the Japanese aircraft carrier fleet. On the other hand, the fruitless Japanese fighter plane decided to spread its anger on the 2 lone U.S. warships. Soon the destroyer was hit by 3 550-pound bombs. It was directly blown into 2 pieces, resulting in the death of 178 American troops, and the supply ship on the side failed to escape the fate of being destroyed. 7 550-pound bombs set him on fire, killing 2/3 of his crew. And just at this moment, an American reconnaissance plane finally took the lead in finding the Japanese aircraft carrier fleet, and soon a large number of American aircraft rushed towards him screaming,